Welcome to a brand new episode of the Oracles. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you all. We are we're, we are actually like I think in like a week or two late because I think we actually supposed to have started last week, but it's just been a crazy start to the year. But we are here now. How are you doing?
No, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I think I can take the Happy New Year more than I
Yeah.
can take Merry Christmas. It's been a
Yeah.
while. It's over a month
Yeah.
now, literally. Like it's the 31st, so the Happy New Year would make sense a bit, but the
Yeah.
Christmas, I'm not sure.
It has
No,
been
but I'm
over.
good, man. I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
all
good to
good.
see you, man. It's good to see you. This is the first time that we actually see each other this year.
Likewise.
I think it's actually the first time that we see each
Yeah,
other since our last episode. But yeah, and a lot has been
literally.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot has been happening in between. I think one on the 28th, 2 days ago, or 2 or 3 days ago, it was AKA's birthday. I think
Yeah.
2 weeks before that, uh, Metro FM announced that it's bringing back the Metro FM Awards back to Bombela, which is happening
Yeah.
on the 27th of April. There've been music drops. There've been Java also announced that his album, Isibuko, has gone gold, has gone platinum. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure
I
yet.
saw a few statuses like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I think like 16 of the 18 songs on the album have been
Some.
certified.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot that has been happening. So we're just going to talk about a couple of things that have been happening. I have no idea where we're going to start. I really have no idea where to start.
Yes, you can start at the beginning. You can start with the music drops, or you can start with. I think the music drops will work better. I think also, I think I want the music drops because I'm not necessarily out of touch, but I
Yeah,
haven't really been on the music drops much, right?
yeah,
And I've been seeing a few things trend, but I'm not sure what they're trending for. Speaking of Nikki and Megan, I really don't know what's happening there. I'm seeing a lot that's happening, but I don't know what's happening. Like, are they dissing each other? Because I saw they both dropped tracks. Like, what's happening? I feel like that's what I want to know first before you proceed. I feel like I'm just not in the loop much.
Okay, so the Megan and Nikki thing is actually something that's been happening for quite a while. That they've been
Mm.
beefing for quite some time. Nikki has been beefing with Cardi B as well, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
she's had some issues with some female artists in the mainstream for quite some time, and it even goes back all the way to there's a lady, I think Diamond something. I forget her name. That was like years ago when Nikki was still starting out. She had a beef with her as well.
yeah,
She also had a beef with Lil Kim as well. So, I mean, if you're beefing with pretty much every female in the music industry, we started to think that actually maybe the problem might be
you
with
are the
you.
problem.
Yeah, maybe the problem might be with
Yeah,
you. But talking about the current issue between Megan and Nikki, I don't have no idea where their beef started or what it is about exactly. But
mm,
Nikki dropped a diss track, I think sometime this week, called Bigfoot.
yeah,
Bigfoot, obviously referring to uh,
Megan.
to Megan the Stallion.
I, yeah,
And
yeah,
the reason for that is because I think she's like a size seven. I think she wears like a size seven shoe. So apparently, I don't know.
okay,
Apparently, it's also average. It's an average foot size, especially because Megan is quite tall as well. So wouldn't make sense
yes,
for her
yeah,
to have a smaller shoe size.
that's
But
powerful. Yeah,
according to Nikki, it's quite huge. But I haven't listened to the song itself. But from what I've been seeing,
okay,
and I'm not to watch it because I feel like it's with the reviews of what people are saying. People are saying that they wish that they could take back their stream from listening to it. And for me, it's also like just it's hearing what people are saying and seeing some of the lyrics
yeah,
floating around on Twitter. It's very porny. I feel like it's very porny.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and it's too late in Nicki's career for her to be dropping diss tracks as well, because it actually does nothing for her. But for Megan, I suppose it does something for Megan, but for Nicki, it's far too late for her to do
that. I think that's my main reason I wanted to learn more about this, because I don't know, but in my head, I really feel like Nicki is way past that point, you know, and also as maybe I place too much value on age and growing up, but there are certain things that Nicki says and Nicki does that I'm just like, ma'am, no, you know. And I feel like this track was one of those things. I'm just like, why are you even entertaining this, you know? Or if you are gonna entertain the beef, make it about the music. Because I also there's some, I feel like yes, we might also touch on another point that speaks to when you're speaking about these tracks, do we go personal, or do we have limits, right? And I think for me, that's the thing when it comes to certain things that probably Nicki said, because there's a part where I don't know if this track or she's been cheating, but when she mentioned the whole shooting with, maybe not so many words, but the whole shooting with Tory Lanez, that's what I always then come back to, like, do we draw a line, especially when you look at how grown a person is. Maybe a 21-year-old will be like, okay, they still have a lot to learn. But when you look at the age Nicki is at, it's like, I understand you're making a diss track, but at what cost? You know, like, what if he had hurt her so bad, maybe she couldn't walk anymore, like something, understand? Or he's still going to make a diss about that.
Yeah. Okay. With hip hop beef, now, it ranges. Like I don't feel like there's a particular spectrum that exists on how far you can go when it comes to dissing someone. I mean, we've seen some disses go very, very personal.
Very far.
We've heard Tupac on Hit 'Em Up talking about Mobb Deep. You know, we've seen even about Biggie speaking with Biggie's wife. Very, very, very personal. We've seen Nas talking about Jay-Z, also going very personal. So I feel like there's no particular spectrum that exists. You can go as far as you want to go, or as far as you're willing to go, if you're going to diss someone. But if you're going to be dissing someone, know that as far as you can go, the other person can go even further than you. Yeah. So it's a bit tricky there. But I mean, as far as Nicki's concerned, I feel like this is something that she shouldn't be doing at this point. She's been around for quite a long time. Her time in the limelight is pretty much over. Even some of the things that her personal life, some of the things that we've been seeing about her in the personal life, it is not something that I think should be in the spotlight. Something that we should be knowing about, particularly about I don't know if it's a boyfriend or a husband. Apparently,
the whole husband.
Yeah, I think he's banned from. He's got a lot of issues himself because he's banned from going.
Like, how bad of a person are you? He's banned from going to a park with his kids.
Exactly, and this is the person that Nicki.
And you proudly call that person your man, and you're a woman.
Yeah, you understand.
So Megan can take it there. Megan can literally take it there and start dissing her about that. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
And what's going to happen then? So there's that. She's married to a sexual predator, basically. That's why he's not allowed to go anywhere. And not just a sexual predator, but someone who sexually harassed kids, which is for anyone, that should be automatic disqualification. That person shouldn't be allowed in society in any form or any way. So yeah, that's the Nicki and Megan story as far as I can understand it. I don't know where the beef comes from, and I don't know where it's going to go.
That's I think that's where my confusion is, because even with Cardi, I think they had a song a few years ago. I think it's a motorsports where they both literally rapped their asses off. It was a nice song. And at some point, I don't know if she had a remix with Megan, but she made music with all of them at some point, or she liked them at some point. So I'm just like, what went wrong? What happened? Did you guys fight like between the two of you guys, or was it the supporters? Because you know how stands are. Stands can make you do things that you never thought you'd do. You know?
Yeah.
Was it the stands who started this beef and they both entertained it? Or I think that was my question mostly. I'm just like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
but honestly, to be fair, I'm not interested in listening to any of the songs. Also, I feel like I just fall out of love with Uniki when she married this guy, because I was a hardcore Nicki fan. I was, like I was a hardcore Nicki fan. Like I knew Nicki's songs word for word, and yeah, man, when all of that happened, I was like, yeah, no, you ought to draw a line at some point.
And it's important to note as well. It's important to note as well that since she's been with this guy, her music career hasn't been the same. Because when she was with Safari, she wasn't on top of the world. She was amongst the best hip hop artists in general.
Guys, she was still popping.
Yeah, even with Meek Mill, she was still quite big. And then she went and she got with this guy, and everything just went to ashes. She's no longer the same. And where she is at her point in her career, she does not need to make statements. She is Nicki Minaj. She does not need to be doing all these answers. She does not need to
she could have easily retired even.
Yeah,
she could have easily retired even. Literally, she was set for life. She could have retired. Like, you know what? I messed up with this man. Let me just raise my kids and backtrack from everything.
Yeah, and now she's messed up a legacy. Now this is what she's going to be remembered for more than all the music, which is quite sad. But yeah, it's unfortunate. We'll see how she handles this going forward. But it's not looking good.
No.
It really isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. I mean, if you're dissing Drake as well, I'm just like, this is your boy, man. Like,
I mean,
what are you going through?
I mean, without Drake, Nicki's career is not the same. Without Drake, without Lil Wayne, there's no the Nicki that we know. Even though she's been rapping even before Young Money, Cash Money thing, but without them, there is no Nicki Minaj that we know.
True. No, but we'll see how to navigate this entire thing. I just hope it works out for her. Yeah. Honestly, I think the best way to move on from here is for her to retire, guys. Like, just retire.
Yeah, just sit back.
The public light, literally.
Yeah, that. But hopefully she does that at some point. Hopefully she does. And then moving forward to a local drop, Pretty Ugly dropped Dust. Was it on Friday? Last week Friday. Have you listened to it yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't listened to it. But I think one thing I am happy about. You know you're doing something great, or your music is amazing, when people who never care about the music genre are the ones getting you up like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I've been saying, but it's wild. And you can see it's authentic. You can see it's genuine. Because you can see a drop that is supported by promo, right?
Yeah.
You can see the way people tweet about it. I mean, you can see that it's not authentic, right?
Yeah.
But Manelisi, when I tell that I'm seeing people who have never posted a single hip hop song, being like, man, what an album. I've seen people who are only starting into going to hip hop now, or that kind of music that Priddy makes, and they're like, why is he retiring? Because this guy is a genius. This guy makes good music. And for me, I think I'm going to go into that, like listening to that album with not only just an open mind, but I think with a happy heart. Because guys, I'm a Priddy fan. I'm a big Priddy fan. If there's one person who I feel like is a great artist, or one of the great artists we have in this country, is Priddy. Priddy is amazing, right? And I think for me, I always want to, when you want to listen to something in solitude, like in a space where you're not distracted by anything. That's why I prefer Priddy, because I go into a space of, I don't know what, but when you're reading a book and you start envisioning what you're reading, now you create your own movie in your head. That's what I go through in Priddy. And I don't know if I don't want to say it's like giving me conscious rap or conscious music, but he puts me in that space where I'm just like, man, what an artist, you know. So I don't want to rush it, and I also don't want to base it off what everyone has said, because you know one thing about me, I don't care about that. You know, I also let an album simmer before I listen to it. I'm not gonna jump on it on the first day, you know.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen so far, I'm loving the support that it's getting, and I'm really happy with where we headed as hip hop in this country. I'm looking forward to what the year is bringing. Because it's already moving like this in Jan, and I see who's this also. Jay Jody dropped it. I think it's a mixtape. It's like a 7 EP,
Oh yeah.
and I that one I listened to, and I think was after like a week or two, and I'm just like, yeah, we're moving in the right direction. This is what I'm here for. This is what I've been yearning for, you know.
Yeah.
So if you find a year like this, onwards, man, onwards and upwards.
Yeah, it's a good start to the year as far as hip hop is concerned. And you know, going back to what you're saying about people who do not usually listen to hip hop and talking about this album, it made me wonder if I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
Phil Keda's post about Priddy saying that he's a former rapper, and people just went in on to say, how do you call this guy a former rapper when he's
Yeah.
literally dropping an album
Yeah.
this coming Friday? So I don't know if the responses to the album were also partly due to film headers post where people were now wondering why are people defending Priddy so much that they went and listened to it. There's no way, I don't think there's any way to find out if that's the case. But either way, it was also good for him. It was also good for Priddy for that the post. It was wrong, in my opinion, it was wrong of Phil to actually say that about Priddy already put it in the former rapper, even though admittedly he's um, admitted that he's retiring from rap music. But retiring from rap music does not necessarily make someone become a rapper, because if you're a rapper, you're a rapper. He might show up in some with some features. He might show up. He might decide that he's not retiring, he's coming out of retirement. Yeah, he might decide to come back. So it's like being a rapper is almost like being black. You don't just decide, even though you might identify as being colored or you might identify as being whatever, you are still black. Nothing about the changes. Just like being a rapper. If you started being a rapper, if you have music out, if you're a writer, if you're a rapper, you'll always be a rapper. Nothing about that is going to change. But the album itself, because it's got that 14 tracks, I've only got to listen to it once. So far, I don't really have a particular favorite song, but the beats on there, they're very interesting, because I heard a few which are those lo-fi hip hop beats. I think one or two that I've heard. He has got his child on the outro. She's saying some ABCs, and she's also, I think she's saying a prayer or something on there as well, on the outro, which is like the entire album on the first listen. It's pretty good. I am able to. It's something that I would say I want to go back and listen to again. We'll obviously give a proper review after we listen to it once or twice. Maybe next time that we have an episode where it's just the two of us. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But also another question around Priddy is, okay, so Phil Nkeda sent out the tweet to say Priddy is a former rapper. And what I've noticed, I don't know if it's something that Phil did on purpose or if it's something that just happens automatically. Because a lot of people love Priddy's wife, we can say. And the problem with a lot of guys in the entertainment industry is, if their wives are loved by the public far more than they are loved, people tend to hate the husband for some reason. It's almost like when you listen to the Beehive, listen to Beyonce's super fans. A lot of them do not like Jay-Z just because he's married to Beyonce. Would you say that that's the case as well with Priddy?
I think, I don't know what it is, nah, but I just feel like a lot of people just never liked Pretty Ugly. And I really feel like there's no reason behind it. Because even before the marriage to Wintley, yes, we've always known them as a couple, right? But they've just never rated him. They've just never rated him. And I'm just like, sometimes it gives me the vibes of, how Max is loved by a lot, but also other people are like, what does he do? Like, what is their part? He's not that great of a rapper. I feel like it's the same thing with Priddy. They just don't like him. It's not necessarily a Buntle thing. For me personally, I really feel like, no, to a point where, no, actually, I see Max. You saw people cheat Reason before he became Elakine.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, Caesar Elakine.
Yes, that guy. Before he became Caesar Elakine, right? Reason would get, they will always bully Reason. And to a point where you would even ask, guys, what is the to that point, we'd even ask, what did Reason do to you? And no one would tell you. They just didn't like him. And I feel like it's the same thing with Priddy Ugly.
But at the time,
there's no reason behind it.
But at the time, was it not because of Luke Love? Because people love Noltan. They love Love. So at the time, was it not because they were together? You don't think so?
Prior to that, even before he dropped, remember the song that he dropped, is a Jesus Christ, where he had blasphemy picture on the cover.
Yeah.
I think Jesus was around a group of naked girls or something, right? People were mad at that, right? But even before that, people never liked Reason. And the same way he'd have a lot of fans or supporters like us who would ride for him all the time. Then there was those ones who hated him for no reason at all. And he would literally ask, what did Reason do to you? Because he's a great rapper, he minds his own business, he's a crazy guy, he just likes having fun, drinking and again, smoking his weed and whatnot. But they really couldn't answer it.
Yeah.
And I really feel like it's the same thing with Priddy. I don't know what. Also, I don't know if maybe because Priddy just keeps to himself, minds his business, doesn't fight with anyone. Just I really don't know what it is. Because when you ask them, no one will ever stand in like he's a rap rapper. I've never heard it. Or he's not a great artist. So that's not a reason because nobody has ever given us that reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because Priddy is actually one of the best rappers that we have in the country, but he's hardly in any conversation. When you ask about top 5, top 10, it's hardly ever mentioned any. Yeah, so I guess I hear what you say. I understand what you say. Yeah, but anyway, moving on from that, I want to talk about Java's move because I actually had it on their release. So Java, Isibuko has like 18 songs on the album, and Isoga singles, 16 of the songs have been certified. Isoga has, been certified double platinum. The album itself, Isibuko has been certified platinum with 4.2 million streams worldwide and 37.8 million streams in South Africa, which is quite interesting. I'm actually interested to know which countries.
I'm a huge chunk of that.
To
me, I'm a huge chunk of that. I feel like at this point, I'm low-key obsessed with Java. Low-key, I really feel like I am.
Yeah.
I love Java. I love Java and I am happy. Personally, I'm really happy about this. Also, I think another reason that I'm happy is because a lot of people are not rating it as highly as Umkhele, right? And for me, I felt like people are not listening to the lyrics. And that's another problem I feel like we have in this country. I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
But I really feel like that's what we have in this country. People just want to hear a beat and if it's catchy. Because right now, even from this album, right? For me personally, this song is not the best song. Yes, he released it as a single, but if I listen to the lyricism, Amakesha is way better. Amavaga is way better. Grounding is way better, Peace is way better. Like there's a lot of songs that are way better.
Way better as well.
Yes, he featured the twins Exactly. He featured the twins, he featured Mzukulu, great. But for me personally, I feel like they are great songs. But those songs are just gold right now. Yes, some of them they are platinum, but the others are gold. But if you listen to those lyrics, there's another one that he does with where he speaks about how he's going to fetch his sister from Umshati because she's getting abused in a pair. I think it's one it's with one of the Maskandi guys. I don't know if it's true or something. I think it's who is it Ituna or something. Oh, I forgot the song, but he speaks about how Uzolanda his sister because it's was Ashone in England, you know?
Yeah.
And that's literally what we're going through in this country. Like GBV is a big thing, you know? But I feel like people don't listen to those songs.
Yeah, no, they don't.
People don't listen to those songs. That's the thing about this country. We don't listen to the lyricism. Even that girl, I'm going to digress a bit. The girl was featured on Chris Brown's song.
Yeah.
The girl from is it KZN?
Yeah.
The song that trended that girl when she was singing was Ubabulala Nami, right? And for me, I'm not from KZN, so I don't know if that song is. You know, there's a lot of traditional songs in KZN that they sing around, and you find an artist I touch and master it and make it a song. So I don't know if that's what happened with that song. But when I first heard it, guys were on Big Zulu's album, right? And I hated how that was the most played song on that album by myself. Out of the entire album, that's the song I played the most. And as painful as it is, I don't know what, but I was always listening to the lyrics, right? So for me, it was a thing of, did people even hear the song? Did they even hear what she was singing? Or they just had a great voice?
Yeah.
That's another thing. We listen to her words, we listen to the beats, but are we hearing what's happening in the single? Like, are we hearing the lyricism?
So what I can say about that is that people are listening to the melody and they're listening to the voice as well. So I remember shortly after the video went viral, Royce the 5'9" actually posted it on his on Instagram. And I don't know if Chris Brown saw it from there or he also came across the song himself, I think on TikTok or whatever, social media. But clearly, because Chris Brown and Royce do not know what this girl is saying, all they're hearing is the melody and they're hearing the voice as well. And the strange thing is, I also saw a video, I think it was sometime in December, where the girl was performing at some event and she was singing the very same song. And to me, it was just crazy because, okay, it's fine. The message in the song sends out a message of sexual abuse, especially a father sexually abusing his daughter. And it's something that needs to be talked about. But my problem is that people do not actually take heed to the message of the song, nor do they listen to what the song is actually saying. Big Zulu went on his album, and even though he had that song as hook, but the entire message of the song was sending out the pain that the little girl is going through because of this sexual abuse, and people do not hear that. This is a song that is supposed to be used as a message through gender-based violence or fighting gender-based violence in the country. But people are using it for entertainment. And this is not entertainment. This is something that thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of girls around the world are experiencing in their personal lives. So it's, I mean, people just do not listen to what is being said.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you. I was saying that, I was saying that people just do not listen to what music is saying. In most occasions, they do not catch the message.
Yeah, you're right. I was going to say that, and I'm not one to dictate what people do with their music, right? But if there's one song that I'd like for that girl to not jump on stage with, is that one.
Yeah.
If she wants to add it to a set, I'd appreciate it. awesome. She can add it, I think. And when she adds it, I feel like that's when everyone needs to quiet down and listen. Because now what happens is when she's going to perform, there's, as I said, you know how Java, before he goes up, he does that whole thing where, right?
Yeah.
When he's still backstage, you know, by the time he gets on stage, the intro has been done, right?
Yeah.
And with this girl, it's giving the same thing. She starts saying it while she's still backstage or downstairs by the stage, right?
So people
by
know.
when people hear that, automatically people lose their mind.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so are we losing our minds for the girl, for the performance, or for the song? Because for me, that's a song that needs to be listened to in silence, right?
Yeah.
Personally. So if she wants to perform it, great. But you know how Big Zulu would, when he's performing, right? He'd perform rap and not make noise. But whenever he does 50 bars or 100 bars, he usually drops the beat.
Yeah.
And he wants us to hear what he's saying. That's how I really, yes, you can continue singing it, it's okay. And imagine the reach that it would have if you're performing for 50,000 people and they actually hear the message behind the song. It could literally even touch an abuser who's there and they could literally change their lives. Stop doing that. But if you jump onto the song, to the stage with the song and people are screaming for you, they're not hearing what you're saying.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's also where she actually performs the song. If she's going to be performing the song at a concert or festival where people already have been drinking, people have already, they are just there for a good time and not for a particular purpose, which is to send out a message of gender-based violence or whatever. People are not going to care what she's saying. They're just going to be happy that she's there. They're going to be happy that she's singing, but they're able to hear her and see her. But they're not going to care what she's singing about. And that's another thing. That way, if she's going to be singing a song, she needs to choose which platforms she's singing it at, and what the purpose of the platform is. That's where people are really going to properly pay attention to what the song is saying. But at least that's what I think.
No, so I agree. That's what I'm saying. I feel, and now going back to our main point with being wish to have being certified double platinum, gold, and platinum. My wish for this country this year, I just want us to listen to the lyrics, guys. That's literally all I want, because we have so much potential in our music. So much potential in our music. You know, you listen to a touchline verse, and it's like, damn, okay. And I literally have to repeat the song.
Yeah.
You listen to a Black Les verse, you're like, okay, I have to repeat that song, you know? But now, if the only thing I think if there's also one person who's getting it right because of how we are as a country, is Ginger. Ginger would have his best verse as an interlude.
Yeah.
Quick, straight to the point, you know? Because we're at that point where I want people to hear what I'm saying. So if I mix this thing in a song that's 4 minutes, they're not going to hear it. Let me make my best verse an interlude. And they will hear me, you know? And it shouldn't be like that. I feel like if you want to listen, we need to listen. You see how attentive you are when you listen to Story Tease God's Eye. That song is 14 minutes, guys. 14. And he catches me from the jump. Like, how are you telling a story that good on different things for so long? Because I genuinely want to listen to the lyrics.
Yeah. And
yes,
also,
that days we just want to have fun. Just like, let me listen to Okay, Madam Cool Cats, you know? Awesome. But that time if I listen to Pretty Ugly, being a Pretty Ugly, it's like wanting to listen to Saudi, but you are jamming to listening to a song like it was like in your head you are playing like but you're listening to Saudi. No.
You're not going to hear anything.
I'm sorry.
Not going to hear anything.
You're not going to hear anything. If your head, the melody you're hearing is Boss Bank, you're not going to hear what Saudi is saying. And from there, now you're going to literally choose the album to what it's not. You're going to say, it's basic, it's trash. But if you really listen to it with that mind, you are going to actually hear how great the album is. Definitely, it's still it's a bit of a struggle, but I hope we get there.
Yeah, and that's another thing where the importance of actually listening to an album. We tend to,
Yeah.
and to see that people do not usually listen to albums. You go to any event, go to a club or festival or whatever, and the most requested songs are songs that have been released as singles into the mainstream. You hardly hear people wanting to hear songs that have not been released as singles, but are on a particular album. Where someone will tell you it's the same as when I was about to talk to Saudi at Java's concert. Another guy was taking a picture, and he asked Saudi when he's dropping an album, and Saudi told him that, dude, you're not a fan, because I think the guy said that he's a huge fan, and then asked when he's dropping music, and Saudi told him that, you're not a huge fan, and he said that while they're taking the pictures, you're not a real fan because I dropped an album last Friday. You should know that. If you're a real fan, you would know that. So people are waiting to hear music on radio or see it on music channels or whatever, or on TikTok. And another thing is, I want us to talk about TikTok as well, but we'll do that very shortly. People just do not listen to albums, and that's why on here when we talk about Java's Isibuko going platinum, see, the song is double platinum. It makes sense because it was released as a single. But and like you mentioned, songs that
and that's the only one, right? That's been released as a single.
Yeah, it's song is the only one that has gone double platinum. I'm a Baga and I'm a Kesha both gone platinum. But
no, but I'm saying Soga is the only one that's been released as a single.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I haven't heard the others as singles. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Time as well. Time has been released as a single. I think I've heard
Time.
it on. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I've heard it on Kaya. If I'm not mistaken. Either Kaya or Radio 2000. One of the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that people do not listen to entire albums and they do not listen to the lyrics of songs.
Yeah. And you're not saying don't have favorites, because as I say, I also have favorites on the album. I'm a Ketla is my fave, I'm a Vaga, I'm a Pivo Grounding, they're all my faves. But in order for me to get to that, obviously I had to listen to the entire album and see what is for me, what isn't for me, What do I like the most, what do I not like? But if I'm going to say how great or not great an album is, simply because I heard one song trending, I'm just like,
Yeah, you can't judge an entire album on one song. That's like that is literally judging a book by its cover. Because
literally. Actually, when you say that, yes.
Yeah, because the single is used to promote an album, but the single is not necessarily a reflection of the album itself. Because we've listened to albums where the single that has been released is the best song on the album, and everything else is just trash. You can't listen to anything else. That single is the only song that you can go and listen to. And then there are albums where pretty much all the other songs on the album are better than the single. That's the world that we live in.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I mentioned that I want to talk about TikTok, right? I don't know if you heard the story about TikTok and Universal Music.
No, what's happening there?
Okay, so Universal has, or rather had a contract with TikTok. I think TikTok had similar contracts with all the other record labels, which is why which is similar to other social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, where you can add a song, you can search for a song and find it and add it to your content or whatever. So Universal and TikTok, they were in negotiations to renew the contract that they had, because TikTok is meant to pay royalties to Universal. Actually, they pay royalties for every single song that is used on any post and is posted and whatever. So now TikTok and Universal couldn't come to an agreement for regarding the contract, because apparently TikTok wanted to pay less royalties than what they previously agreed on, and Universal wanted more, wanted TikTok to pay more for in terms of royalties for the music that is being played. But I want actually, because I took a screenshot of some of the things that were said there. I think that's it.
Universal, all about the money.
Yeah, and funny enough, there's
Universal.
music. Yeah, because funny enough, I went live on Facebook before, when I was doing the hip hop show, where I'd be playing, I'd be going like on a link, where playing, have music played before and after I did a link, whatever. And even today, that was like more than 2 years ago. Even today, on Facebook, sometimes I get a reminder that a story that I put up, or rather a post that I put up, belongs to Universal because of the music that is being played on there. Yeah. Now imagine, and I knew that already. Sometimes they even cut off the feed because of the music that was played.
Even TikTok.
Yeah. They cut off the feed, but
I think they limit it to a minute even, and they say if it's more than a minute, there's a possibility that the sound might be removed.
Yeah. Even today, sometimes get a reminder that that particular post belongs to Universal because of the music. But anyway, Universal said in part of its statement, said that 3 critical issues, including appropriate compensation for artists and songwriters, protecting human artists from the harmful effects of AI, and online safety for TikTok users. Actually, I think I started that somewhere in the middle. Okay. So this is the screenshot from the article that I read. They said, as a result, its full catalog, including 3 million recorded music tracks and around 4 million songs publishing, is represented by UMG, will no longer be legally cleared for use on TikTok. UMG says that its attempts to negotiate a new license for TikTok collapsed after it pressed the ByteDance-owned service on 3 critical issues, including appropriate compensation for our artists and songwriters, protecting human artists from the harmful effects of AI, and online safety for TikTok's users. Now, the online safety thing, I do not understand what the Universal is talking about. And then, so those are the 3 pieces, basically. The first one is a compensation. Universal wants a certain percentage. Actually, Universal wants TikTok to pay the same royalties, the same as Spotify, Apple Music, which to me does not make sense, because with Spotify and Apple Music, you get like a full song, whereas on TikTok you only get like a very, very short clip. You can't even choose which part of the song that you want to use. You only get to use what you can get.
And you're not even streaming.
Yeah, you're not even streaming. You are just putting up the phone. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's also the same with Facebook and mainly Instagram, where now you can also add a song to a post that you use, that you put up, and apparently Meta is supposed to pay royalties for that. And then the second point that Universal used is the harmful effects of artificial intelligence. So apparently, TikTok has launched its own streaming platform, but it's currently in certain countries. I don't think we have it in South Africa yet, where you can create. It's powered by AI, where you can pretty much create your own song. You can put out prompts on what you want a song to do, or what you want the song to say, and that's exactly what it's going to give you. I don't know how it works, if it also uses already existing artists' voices, or if it's just instrumentals and all of that. But I do not understand where a far as artificial intelligence is concerned, where Universal is concerned, really, because if a song is created by AI, it's not taken from any artist that is signed or has a contract with Universal, then and it's a completely new song, then Universal really does not have anything to do with that. They shouldn't be worried or concerned about that. But also need a full understanding myself to see how that platform actually works.
Yeah.
So in rebuttal, TikTok saying that it really does not make sense for Universal to want more when TikTok doesn't even use the entire song in the post. So from today onwards, actually, because they failed to come to an agreement, so from today onwards, any song that belongs any song that belongs to Universal is off TikTok. So you cannot find it anymore. So that's maybe around 6 million songs. And it's going to have a huge effect. And that actually includes Drake. Drake is one of those artists whose music is no longer on TikTok. So one can imagine how people are going to feel about that.
It's crazy. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think Universal thought because TikTok is one of the biggest social media platforms right now, they thought they are coining it, right? Which they are, but they're forgetting it's not a music platform. Like, it's not a streaming platform. So in their head is a thing of, if they're making money, we also need to make money. Forgetting with the money that TikTok is making is literally from people just posting their own things. Yes, people use music, but at times you can literally scroll 4 or 5 literally through 4 or 5 posts without hearing a song from, like, online. Person is just doing a video or an SAMR, or they're cooking, or they're talking, whatever. Right? People just gravitate to TikTok because it's more of authentic platform where people are themselves. Whatever you want on TikTok, you'll find. You'll find DIY, you'll find anything. So, when you see somebody else making money, it's like, I can't let them make money by themselves. I also need to be part of that. I need to get the bread. I think that's what Universal was trying to do. They want to slice up the pizza. That's literally it for me personally.
Yeah, I think it's greed on the part of Universal. But actually, I think it's just a clash of egos, because this thing could have been avoided. They could have come to an agreement. So because Universal wants more money, and Universal, by the way, is the biggest record label in the world at the moment. So Universal wanted more money than what they were getting paid before, while TikTok wanted to pay less than what they've been paying before. So, I mean, the middle ground here is that let's keep the contract as it is. Let's just
continue as it is.
Let's just continue as we were before. But I think for the most part, it's just a clash of egos. If one party wants to have an upper hand over the other one, and this is where they are today. But at the same time, Universal, I feel like they're the biggest losers on this one, because a lot of songs have gone viral because of TikTok. A lot of music has been discovered because of TikTok. TikTok is
careers have been made because of TikTok.
Careers have been made because of TikTok. A lot of, the bigger artists, people like Drake, they're not going to feel the pinch, basically. They're not going to get affected like this. But if you're a new artist who is just signed with Universal, this is going to be an issue for you, because how are you going to promote your new music digitally, or rather on social media, if it's not available on TikTok? Because TikTok is the biggest pusher of music, more than Meta, more than Twitter. Twitter actually pretty much is non-existent. Everyone there is just nobody cares about music that much. Facebook is also, they call it the village for a reason. It's really not something that it's really not a place where you promote your music. Instagram is all about aesthetics. Put up a post, you just find a song that you like, that you feel fits with whatever is going on here, and it's hard to new music. So TikTok was the best one because people, I mean, you think about how much time a person spends looking at one post on TikTok. Because generally, if you're on TikTok, you're going to scroll through. You're going to spend more time on TikTok than you would on Instagram. Instagram, you probably spend no more than 10 minutes a day. If you're really addicted to Instagram and you use it that much. But on TikTok, you could spend hours on there per day. Just scrolling. Yeah, you could literally spend hours on
TikTok.
Yeah, so
literally TikTok number one, and everything else follows. And I use TikTok to Shazam even,
Yeah.
I Shazam myself to TikTok, So
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really feel like they might go back and fix this agreement. I think they will see good actually this is not working out.
Yeah, at some point.
Check it and maybe keep the contract like it was, but I really feel like at some point they're going to go back.
Yeah, at some point Universal might want to go back. Because I mean, when you've got like 3 million signed artists on there, or rather 3 million pieces of music that belongs to you from artists that you own, and then 4 million that you own through publishing. That is quite a lot. It's a huge chunk. So actually, with the 4 million, I don't know if it includes. Yeah, I don't know if 3 million of that is also from the artists that are signed or music that belongs to Universal, and then the 1 million is from outside. I don't know how the publishing works, but it's quite a lot of music. It really is a lot of music. And also,
Universal is really universal. It's a global thing.
It's literally a global thing. Yeah, it's a global thing. And from my end, the last thing that I want to talk about today. Sorry. I don't know if you saw Priddy's post yesterday about owning the Masters.
That's what I wanted to ask about as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So that thing that Priddy was talking about, it's actually standard music practice. So for those who haven't seen Priddy's post, is that he was saying that if you're going to come to the studio and you're going to record new music, it doesn't matter whether you make the beats, doesn't matter that you wrote the lyrics, doesn't matter that you created the melody, does not matter. Basically, the entire creative process, even if you created the music yourself. But if you're going to come to the studio and record that music, he owns the masters. He owns the masters to the music. And people went crazy, like, what do you mean you own the music? And understandably, people will go crazy because they don't fully understand. And in my opinion, it's an unfair practice. It's an unfair practice. But also at the same time,
just because it's standard doesn't mean it's
right. Yeah. So if you're going to record music on someone's computer because it is their equipment, they're paying for the electricity. They're probably going to buy you guys food while you're there. And more especially because I think Priddy's studio is in his house. I think they also cater to these guys, buy them food or whatever. But I mean, my music shouldn't be worth
it
shouldn't be worth chicken.
Yeah.
So,
even if I was having caviar, dog. No.
Yeah, I mean, I can go an entire day.
Caviar and the most expensive cognac. At the end of the day, it's not worth it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I can go an entire day. I can go an entire day without eating. It's fine. I'll eat when I get home.
Now what?
Yeah. So
I'll buy my own water on my way there.
Yeah.
How much electricity for a day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like at the end of the day, it's a thing of let's be humane about things. Right? Let's just come to an agreement. I can remember you want to be a part of it. You don't have to own the masters.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, screen that is your song, it's anyhow. Give me 40%. Let me own 40% of the masters because you are using my property.
Yeah.
But that's for you to say literally my entire thing. I own it. It's honestly, it's giving. That's not even the creed that they speak about in the Bible. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
It's wild. I am sorry. Simply because, like, okay, let's record a strategy. Okay, now who owns the masters? Now who owns the masters?
Whoever the equipment belongs to. It basically goes down to the equipment. Yeah, it basically goes down to the equipment. Whose computer is the music being recorded on? Whose microphone is being used? But even like the microphone doesn't matter. You can bring your own microphone. But the fact
IP address, basically.
Yeah, it's the IP address, which is actually something that I want to highlight. So it is not always. It does not. Okay, when it happens, if what Puri is talking about, it happens if you guys do not have such agreement. You guys do not formally agree on what is happening and how you're going to go about doing it. So I can have a studio and music come in and say you want to record. But before we start recording, we need to talk about who owns what, right? And we do that by saying, if you want to use my equipment, you're going to have to pay for it. Either I own the masters or you pay for your time in the studio, which is why a lot of studios, which is why studio time is not cheap. It's not because if you are going to be using someone else's studio, chances are they're going to charge you for that. They're going to charge you for the time that you are going to be using the studio for, and it is not small money. It's not, especially if it's a professional studio, and especially if whoever owns the studio is going to have to hire an engineer to make sure that you guys do not break anything and you guys that the session goes smoothly as possible as far as the use of equipment is concerned. So we need to come to an agreement and say, this is what I charge for your time here. So if you're going to be recording for an hour, it's $500. That's what I'm going to charge you. And fine, you might spend like 5 hours or whatever to calculate how much that is, and you're going to pay that. And after you are done, and this is very important. This is very, very important. After you are done recording, you need to make sure that you have your flash disk or hard drive. You take everything that you recorded on the day and then you delete everything that is on the computer. Make sure that there's no backup. Make sure that there is nothing on the computer itself. But everything that you own, everything that you recorded on the day, your voice, your beats, everything, it goes on a hard drive and you go wherever to master it, to mix it and master it, and then it belongs to you. But the main thing is that you guys need to have a written agreement to say that whatever it is that I record on your computer, it does not belong to you. It is mine, and I'm going to take it with me after I'm done. We just want to make sure that no trace of it is left on the computer. So that is where a lot of people actually use it. And that's why the studio, or rather the recording label, Universal, for instance, they could sign me as an artist. And I would tell them that, listen, you do not have, whatever budget that you're going to give me for studio time, I'm going to take it. Because normally that's how it works. If you sign to a label and the label says, I want an album, this is how much we're giving you. Part of that budget actually is going to come out, okay, even though it's a completely different conversation in itself, that you're going to pay that money back to the studio label. But part of that money is studio time. So if I own my own record, my own studio, I'm going to take from that budget and pay myself for the studio time. Wherever I record. But just because I recorded my own studio does not necessarily mean that I own the masters. It all depends on the contract that I sign. If Universal says that they own the masters to the music that I record, regardless of where I recorded it, anywhere in the world, it belongs to them. It does not belong to whoever owns the studio. So for emerging artists, new artists out there, do not have your own equipment, and you're going to be recording music. Wherever you're recording, make sure that you agree with whoever owns the studio or whoever owns the equipment that they do not own your music. Because if your music takes off and this person is smart enough, they know the laws that govern the music industry you are going to produce for cheap. That is the
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's one thing I always be about, guys. The music side of business. Let's focus on the music side of business as well. As much as you're an artist and the only thing you want to do is make music, let that music make your life. Because at the end of the day, it's going to determine whether you make it or not. It's going to determine whether you're going to buy a house or not. Just because you're hungry for the success and making doesn't mean if a porter calls you up and says, Donna, let's go record.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, Porter hit me up, I'm going to make it.
Aye.
Sure, the song is going to blow by Edward Cost.
Yeah.
Edward Cost. Because I'm talking about the Porter is going to call this voice. Porter, I think it's going to call this voice. Hello, Donna, let's go. You see something trending on TikTok, the dumbest things. Now it's a song. I'm just like, guys, come on, because of Upor. Upor would do that. Yeah. He's taking them out of the streets. Let's say that he's taking them out of the hood, but at what cost? I was watching. I'm going to digress a bit. I was watching the show that is Sip and Talk, and Nati Mangai, the one who made the song Unombula was there, right? And at his peak, Nati used to charge 150K for a performance, right? A single performance, he'd probably have 7 performances in a week. You know how much Nati was getting paid?
How much?
40K. 40,000 rand.
Wait.
He was getting paid 40,000 rand.
Wait, was he getting paid?
150K, 40,000 rand. So in a week, yes?
So, okay, so he was getting 40 from each performance that he was doing. Or was it 40K a month?
So that one he didn't specify. I'm not sure if it was for the week or for that performance, right?
Yeah.
But for a week, Unat would. Now, that's if he had a gig, 1 gig a night. So if he had 1 gig a night, it was 7 nights, right?
Yeah.
He was literally clocking millions in a month. So I'm not sure if he was getting paid 40K per performance or per week, but his salary, quite a salary, right, for like loosely was 40K.
So who was getting the 110K?
And you're charging 100. That guy who was signing Bozola and them get rough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, his words, I was charging 150,000 a performance, and I was getting 40K. I was getting paid 40K. But I didn't specify it was weekly or daily or monthly, but it was the salary. And the funny thing, according to him, he didn't sign a contract. He was never signed to Kelora. He was just working with Kelora, according to him. He was never signed to Kelora.
So no contract exists between Nati and Ketora. Yet,
if they sign something, I think it's more of a make this thing, we do this for you. But it was never I'm signed to get her up. You know how both Fifi and them were signed to Ambitious?
Yeah.
MT and them? He wasn't signed, according to him. He was never signed to get her up. Those are his words. So I think they just had an agreement of some sort. The people who were signed, I think, was your Vucinovas, your Dandos, but he was never signed. At the peak of his career.
And now he's pretty much nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. And
the music of business.
Yeah, like the music business is rough. Like the music business is really, really rough. Yeah, because I mean, I forget who it was. Going back to Priddy, actually, I forget who it was. Where he was saying that he also wasn't getting paid royalties. All he knew was that he's getting into studio, working with these guys, and there was no proper agreement. There was no split sheet that was stuck to say. Yeah, now he was just there making the music. It was going out. Music was going out everywhere. It was getting booked, performances and all of that. But as far as royalties are concerned, apparently you got nothing. And it begs a question as to who actually um, who actually submitted the music to Osando there for the rights. Who does the music belong to? If you're the creator of the music and you hear your music being played everywhere, yet you get no royalties. All the money that all the money that you're getting is just from performance. And the corner, that money is shared where because you are traveling with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing with Isibuko. He was took about at some point she was getting 10K. And you're getting 40, 50K a night when you're getting paid 10K.
And the crazy thing,
I know they're not in the business of making friends. Now where they're trying to make money as the record label owners. Maybe I have too much of a conscience, guys, but it's rough out there.
No,
it's deadly.
It's really rough because
people turn into substance abuse because of that. You check back to the late Zahara, the things that you spoke about. Imagine you're gigging and you're making R1 million in 4 or 5 days, but you can't even buy yourself a car. Forget a house, a car. But you're making R1 million a year, a month. More than R1 million a month, making R1 million a week.
Yeah, I mean, your
name, they're making R1 million a week.
Yeah, from your appearance.
But you're not even getting half of that.
Yeah, your appearance is generating R1 million a month, and you're only getting that 1% of that. It's crazy.
No.
But because on top of that, if you're an artist, a huge artist, getting for wherever, the traveling costs are paid for by the promoter or whoever booked you. The accommodation is paid for by whoever booked you. Yes. So when all that you might pay for,
they can't say your money is going to that.
Yeah, even your food once you get there is being paid for by whoever booked you. It was part of your rider. Right. So the only thing that you might pay for from whatever it is that you can pay is the food on your way to between the travel and maybe when basically between leaving home and doing a performance and then going back home, that's where part of the money is spent and maybe new clothes or whatever. But most of the money actually is supposed to come to you because most of the major expenses are already paid for.
Correct.
You're not paying for any of those things.
Yes.
I think
without me, there wouldn't be any performance.
Yeah, there would not even just any. There wouldn't be the music that we're talking about in the first place.
Exactly. And I'm not saying I don't want to give you money. Let's put 100%. Okay, get a young 30, a young 40, because you are using your studios, right?
Yeah.
But without me, without me writing, without me freestyling, your studio is just there.
It's just
not
there.
Being utilized. So why must you get more? I'm giving you something because I don't have the means. I don't have the money to fund the studio, whatnot. So I'll give you 30%. At most, I'll give you 40%. But you can't have more percentage than me. Because if I try to stop, then what?
Yeah, and
that's to go to someone else, then what?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And this is something that we've been talking about from the time that we actually started this podcast. Where as an artist, I mean, as an artist, it's okay to be signed to a record label, especially if you intend to start your own record label or something, because you have to learn how the music industry works. You have to learn a few things about how you're going to operate, and also you're cutting the costs. And basically, a record label is a shortcut to creating this brand of the name that you want to build, because they have all the resources and whatever. But before you sign to anyone, before you sign to any record label, try by all means to get a lawyer that is going to be on your side, to look at a contract, to see what is, and actually a lawyer that specializes in entertainment law, because they're going to better understand a lot of pretty much all the terminology on there, where you should know how much of your music you own. When it comes to management, who's actually managing, and how much of a cut is management taking from your bookings and from your name and your image, in fact, because it goes beyond just the bookings. Because if you get a brand deal from Nike, for instance, if your contract says that Universal, for instance, owns your image and owns your name, your likeness, in perpetuity, what's the word? Perpetuity or whatever it is. That's big English, bigger than me. If they own that, it means that even if you get a brand deal from Nike, Universal means that Universal gets a cut from that. When you get a small percentage. And also at the same time.
And I'm the one who's rocking these outfits. I'm the one with the Chevy shirts right now.
Yeah.
Just wears Nike. He's been wearing Nike for years. Now he gets the deal, then he must go to whoever signed him. No, guys, nah.
It's the same thing. No. It's the same thing that AKA and Reebok did. I have no idea who his manager was at the time or who negotiated the contract. But Reebok was trying to make a comeback in South Africa, so they signed AKA for a shoe deal and whatever. Those are the limited edition AKA sneakers that we used to see a couple of years ago. Yeah. So instead of paying AKA and Reebok said that you're going to give AKA free shoes. So his payment was the sneakers that Reebok was making money from. So when I heard that, it just blew my mind to say, who negotiated this contract for AKA? Because apparently AKA wasn't part of the negotiations. It wasn't there. He sent someone to negotiate for him. So being paid in sneakers while this company is selling these sneakers and making money from it. I can buy sneakers myself.
Please rate me. Please respect me. Keenan was such a big deal, and when I pay him in sneakers.
Sneakers that he doesn't even need. He can buy his own sneakers. He could buy his own sneakers.
Nah. This one wears Jordan 4s. Jordan 4s are twice or three times the price of Reeboks, and when I pay him in sneakers.
And you used to buy those on a regular.
Respect us, guys.
Yeah, exactly. So for artists, it's important to understand the contract, understand what you're getting into, and understand who owns the music. And even if it's fine, in my opinion, because there are deals that exist where the record label can own the masters, but only for a certain period. Yeah. For me, that is fine.
That I'm fine
if
I'm
the record,
that one.
Yeah, because if the agreement between us is that you're going to promote me, you're going to put me in studio with some of the biggest artists that are available. You're going to make available to me ample studio time. You're going to make available to me great producers and all of that. And I have creative freedom. I have all this time to myself to actually work purely on the music. And when you take care of everything else, even if like in Nati's case, if, for instance, he was paid 40K per gig. Let's say it was per gig, not per month or per week or whatever. But per gig, he was getting 40K. And then get up for getting that other 110K. For me, that would be fine. And honestly, that would be fine. Because I have to look at the fact that, because the 110,000 is not necessarily going to last. It is going to get up, and get up has to pay for the probably supplying the probably supplying the car as well. They are probably paying for the fuel. They are paying for maybe the manager, the road manager, and everyone that's traveling with me. They have salaries to pay. So in essence, I get the bigger cut.
It gets spread out a lot.
Yeah, it gets spread out a lot. So the 40K for me, that means that I'm getting the majority of the money. Because of all everything else that gets paid. As long as I'm not paying for anything. All I have to do is just appear, just be there, that is fine. But if I'm getting ripped off by my own manager, if I'm being managed by Z, and Z's getting 110,000, and she's making sure that everybody else pays for everything around us, then that's a completely different story.
Correct.
yeah, it's a completely different story.
And I said that's another thing that artists need to be aware of. Because if you're signed to a record label, right, you signing with Uzi, right, that's Z, right? But if you're signing with a record label that is not just one person, who's doing everything and who's trying to be ahead of everything, you also need to consider it of the fact that they are literally there's the sound guys, and sound guys not usually it's not one person. There are multiple people who do different things, mastering, mixing, doing this, doing that, you know. And if we have a physical studio, that there's probably a receptionist there. There are probably cleaners, you know. There's a lot of salaries that need to be paid, right?
Yeah.
So that's also one thing that also artists need to be cognizant of. Don't think simply because I'm signed, I should be getting paid more because I'm making the music. To be fair, we also need to be cognizant of a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, read the contract, understand the business side of music. There's more to music than you just making the music.
Yeah. And don't sell yourself.
That's literally my chat. There's more to music. Yes.
Yeah, don't sell yourself. Because I remember sometime late last year, someone actually tweeted that you could, and this is talking to someone who's rushing to start their own record label without proper support or proper support, like basically getting into it with like a business partner, someone who's going to handle the business, and you're going to be working alongside like huge record labels for the things like publishing and things like that. But if you're going to start your own record label, remember that just because you have your own record label does not necessarily mean that you're going to make 100K. Because sometimes it's better to make 10% of 100,000, whereas when you are on your own independently, you make 100% of $5,000. I don't know if that makes sense. Right. Because being on your own, you own everything. You're making, you're making 100% of $5,000, whereas if you were with record label, making 10% of 100,000, which is better. Yeah, the 10% is better than the 100,000. This case. So it's just a matter of being careful. There's a lot that goes to it, man. There's a lot, and I need us to understand. I think for me, this shit can do that because we can't have the same story of people always complaining every second month. Yeah, I'm getting ripped off. This and this is happening because the past couple of years, it's always been bad. There's always someone who's getting ripped off. There's always someone we have to fight for as a supporters. But when you check back, this person never read the contract. Yeah. And this person was never interested in knowing what's happening. They were just happy to be signed. Yeah. And, in terms of going independent, I'm also reminded of Heavy K. Remember how big Heavy K was when he started with Kalau. He was everywhere. He was working with the biggest artists in the country. And then he decided that he's going to leave Kalau and start his own record label. And as soon as that happened, he pretty much disappeared. Yeah, he's still making the same type of music, the same quality of music. But the difference is you're not hearing, you're not seeing him. He's not as big as he was when he was with the Kalau. And that's the difference that it makes. Unlike Drake, Drake left Cash Money, Young Money to go and start is it OVO. Be on his own. And instead of disappearing from the face of the earth, he actually became bigger. He's a bigger artist now than he was when he was with Cash Money. And now the difference also there is that even though he owns his own record label, he has publishing rights. Universal has publishing rights to his music. So Universal has an incentive to actually push it and make sure that it still exists, it's still seen and itself, because this can benefit from it. But as an independent artist, it's fine to have your own record label, have your own record label, own your music, you own your own music, but make sure that you have a deal with a major record label, in one way or another, whether it's publishing or whatever. Yes. Even if it means going to 50 on the masters. That's fine.
Yes.
All that matters.
Understand what you're getting yourself into.
Understand what you're getting yourself into. But yeah, that's the story of South African music. It's actually a global music story in general.
It is.
Yeah, because remember took Jay-Z a while to actually own his masters. Nas wanted to work with Prince at some point. And Prince was like, okay, fine, we can work, but you own your masters. And Nas was like, no, I do not own my masters. And Prince said, come back to me when you own your masters. So it's a global thing. We've seen people go broke simply because they do not understand what it meant. I mean, signing a record deal, you get paid $1 million. That $1 million is not yours. It is not yours. It's your budget for making the music, and you need to pay it back to the record label after the release of your album. So don't, as an artist, do not fall into the trap of thinking that whatever budget is given to you is yours. Don't fall into the trap of giving away the complete rights of the music. Make sure that at some point, even if it's 5 years from today, but make sure that at some point you own
your own. You own, yeah. At the end of the day, that's your legacy, man.
Yeah, that's your legacy. But anyway, that is all from me. I do not have anything else. I don't know if you've got something that you want to talk about.
Nah, I'm all good. My only thing was the one that we touched on when it came to Upuri and the whole masters thing.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's such an important thing to be aware of as artists. Like we need to be aware of that, understand how the masters work, understand how ownership works,
And also understand that if you own your masters, it's up to you to make sure that the masters work for you. As far as getting recognized for to put in music, making sure that it is up there on playlists, on digital streaming platforms, making sure that people actually listen to music, that you're actually making money from it.
Yeah.
You're just owning your masters alone and they're sitting there gathering dust, not going to make any gas, not enough. And make sure that if people are going to be sampling your music, you get paid from it. Because next thing, because there's people who get upset when they hear their music being played, or rather their music being sampled outside, and that they instantly their thought is that this person stole my song. Instead of actually just sitting down, approaching them and say, listen, this music belongs to me. It actually sounds nice. I don't mind that you sampled it, but you should have asked for permission. Yeah, should have asked for permission. Now,
you have an option. That with last Kapena boy. Is it Tony?
Yeah, Tony Braxton. He wasn't man enough.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
it's a banger, but run me my check.
Yeah.
It's a banger, but run me my check. Every time you play last, you're getting money.
Money, yeah. It's the same as.
You're smart about it.
Yeah, it's the same as DJ Spool. Remember when it rained? Exactly. Every time you hear it, Josh Groban gets paid. And another thing, actually, with Whitney Houston, with Our Rose Love, it does not belong to her. It originally belongs to Dolly Parton. And I think, I forget when Dolly Parton recorded it and released the song. But every time that you hear Our Rose Love by Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton is getting paid. And she said that it's the easiest check that she's ever made. She didn't have to do much. All she did was just record the song, put it on an album, and then Whitney Houston did all the legwork some years later. So she's happy. And that's what happens when you cover music or you sample it. Make sure that if you own your music, make sure that it's free.
That's it.
But anyway, that is all.
And be smart about it. We're all trying to eat this year. Let's make money.
Yeah. Let's make that money. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for putting through as always. We'll be back again next week I don't know if we're going to have a guest next week or not. Still trying to work that out. But as soon as that is settled, I will tag you. And as for you, our loyal and loving viewers and listeners of the podcast, thank you very much. You will hear from us next week. We'll see next week whether we have a guest or not. But hopefully we will have one. But remember to hit that subscribe button. If you're tuning in for the first time, remember to press the like button. Remember to comment. Remember to share this with your family and friends. And let's make this podcast a lot bigger than it is already. But until next week, have a good one.